Hello everyone, welcome to another interview. I'm joined by Wheats, coach for Nightmare, Champions of North America. Thank you for joining me, Wheats. Are you all good today?
Yep, I'm having a great day.
You guys are out in Seoul already at your boot camp. How's the experience been so far?
Uh, it's pretty weird because this is only my second boot camp, but my first one in Sheffield, we were in like a private facility, like especially made for boot camps and stuff. And here we're in the T1 base camp is what it's called. It's the PC cafe for T1 fans. So we're hearing like viewing parties outside and stuff while we're scrimming, and we're
You
on the
gotta check,
tiniest desks in the
gotta check
world,
there's
and
none of the Korean players outside or anything, getting a cheeky look at
yeah.
your comps. Yeah.
No, luckily we're in like the birthday booth, and our backs are to the wall, so no one can sneak up on us and see our comps. But uh, yeah, so it's not been like perfectly ideal, I guess. But all that matters is we're in Korea scrimming. It's still better. I think it would be better to be fucking on the street with a laptop in Korea than to scrim NA right now. So
Always a backup option if you get really stuck.
yeah.
Obviously last time I think we spoke it was when you were out in Sheffield for that boot camp. What's the power ranking here between Sheffield and Seoul then, if you had to pick one?
It's really close. No, I'm kidding. Seoul is way better than Sheffield. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
There's
you were so big on Sheffield as well, though.
I did really okay. Sheffield's better than like most cities, I think, but Seoul is like probably the best city I've ever. I lived in like Toronto, Chicago, like I'm in the Charlotte area. I've lived a lot of places so far actually, and I think Seoul's the best city I've been to. So
Have you got much chance to sort of go out and experience the city, or have you been stuck
uh,
scrimming for a lot of it?
not really. We had like one night out on the town, pretty much like Sunday night after Soop Cup, and that's pretty much been the extent of like we've been eating out
Mm.
everywhere. Like we always go to team dinner and stuff, but
You've not done like the
for
touristy stuff.
yeah, we haven't gone to like Seoul Tower, or like any of like the major sightseeing stuff. We've pretty much just done stuff around the T1 base camp is in Hongdae, so we've just been around here pretty much.
What's the difference then in terms of scrims? Because you talked about obviously you get the good scrim bubble, all the other Western teams are out there as well, but obviously you get access Korean teams, China teams. How big is
Yeah.
that jump from your experience, say in stage one in North America?
Uh, I think it's just like the consistent quality of scrims is so much higher. Like in NA, there'll be like 2 days out of the week where you're like, all right, we got like Liquid and SSG on the same day. Like, all right, awesome. It's a good day of scrims. Then all the other days, it's like we're filling with teams that are like not really as difficult. Here, it's like the worst team you can play is like still a team that made China. That's a Western team,
Yeah.
right? So, uh, like even the like pug Korean teams going around right now are still really strong mechanically. So, it's just more consistent overall. Uh, is what I would say.
And then you got a chance as well to play at the Soop Cup. We'll get onto the actual results of it as well, but how was the experience playing in the arena up against getting to walk out on stage in front of the Korean fans?
It was pretty crazy. I've always watched Korean Overwatch since like Apex days, so being in like uh, being there and seeing all the people with the signs in the crowd and like having people like cheer for you before the game, even like all the stuff they do that's just normal is like just another land for them. It's like the first time for all of us, so it was really good to get the LAN experience. But specifically, like a smaller Korean LAN like that is like the Overwatch I grew up watching. So
Yeah, it's very akin to it as well, especially if you think back to all those early Apex tournaments with like Envy and
yeah,
Rogue going over.
yeah,
Obviously, though, the actual games maybe didn't go quite as well as Envy's did. What do you
yeah.
think? What do you think was like the big issue then you sort of ran into there in terms of both games?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like we say this every time we lose, actually, but I feel like we just didn't play like how we wanted to, right? And it's really
Mm.
easy to say that, but like like compared to scrims, like those matches are really not. I mean, I don't know. You probably hear that I don't sound too down in the dirt right now, so
Yeah.
I don't think those matches are reflective of our true power. I think the whole reason I wanted to do when we got invited to Soop Cup, I was like, oh, this is so amazing, is because we get to get people's first land out of the way in a land that's not really as important to. It's not like it's still important. We still tried really hard, but it's not the end all be all. Like at the end of the day, we have to do well in China, and that's where you know that's the event that matters. The S tier event is the one that matters, not the Soop
Yeah.
Cup was still important to us, but it's not. It was more of a preparation land
Bigger things on the
for
horizon.
China. It's not like the end of the world, Even though, I mean, we all took the losses pretty hard because we expected to do better. But I think it's better to get to lose like that, and then go and be even more motivated for China. And I think this team's been really good about losing and learning from it because, like every single loss we had in NA, we learned a lot from, and we're able to win the next time. So
I want to ask a bit about the team as well, because it's obviously a lot of the players have played together before, but it's sort of a new version of the team. What's the sort of breakdown and responsibilities in the team between, like, is there anyone who's like the main caller or anyone who takes more responsibility for certain things?
Yuvi's definitely like the most overall leader on the team, which makes sense. He's been playing the longest. He's like, even though he's only 21, he's been playing pro Overwatch since he was like
He's a
15 years
vet.
old.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely the veteran player on the team. Everyone else, Admiral has a lot of experience too, but like Zira, Kuffa, Lethal have experience, but compared to like UV and a little bit Admiral, like they don't have as much tier one like lands, like like all this all the pressure, all the fans in the crowd, like all this stuff. So I think UV is like he's like our main leader, like in-game coach, when the coaches are muted, and really helps lead a lot of reviews and stuff. So he's definitely like the ideal guy to have doing all that. And then the comms are real. Everyone talks. We've been actually trying to focus more on talking less because everyone's getting a little yappy in the close games. I think it's just some inexperience, but we've been focusing a lot more on listening than talking lately.
Yeah,
So
always the harder of the two to actually get people to
yeah,
listen rather than, yeah. You've been working with GgulTaek as well. Obviously, you even actually played against. You got to coach against GgulTaek as well at the
yeah.
Soop Cup too. What's GgulTaek like to work with?
GoTech's like probably the smartest coach I ever worked with, like by a lot. I really respect him. And then on the other end, he's really funny. I think we've grown to have a pretty good working relationship, and become friends. And but yeah, he's hilarious, dude. Like every single VOD review, this guy will pull up like 8 YouTube clips and like be like, like Kuffa, you do this jump, or like there was in earlier in the season when Kuffa was like first playing Winston, which Kuffa at the time was like in NA, is like this guy's a Winston player, but GoTech's like Korean standard Winston, so he's like,
Yeah.
this is fucking terrible. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, go. He tells him to go like screen share in ranked and like pretend I'm standing behind you with a gun to your head. And like, if you
Ramp
make
up the pressure. Yeah.
yeah. And he said like it's like Russian roulette. Like every time you make a mistake, I pull the trigger, right? So like he's saying shit like this like every day. It's so funny. Like he's just a hilarious guy, and he's I think he really is like the main reason we've had so much success. Is he's really like changed the way everyone on our team looks at the game. We're trying to look at it more like how Koreans look at it instead of NA style.
What do you think the biggest difference is between maybe the sort of style of thinking that he's brought in compared to maybe what it was before?
I think a lot of the time before, there was just like a lot of I don't know. We always just focus on like the big picture, like macro stuff instead of like we don't really care so much about micro like at all anymore. And because we're like, hey, you guys are the fucking pro players. If you miss a shot, like I can't help you as a coach,
Yeah.
right? You know, like I'm not gonna teach you how to hit a shot on cast, right? Like you hit the shot, but also just like the way uh I don't want to be too specific is the thing. So it's like
Yeah.
the things he tells us is just like he has so much experience coaching in Asia that he can pull from like his whole library of like, oh, this game in 2022, the in contenders, like look at what this guy did, you know, like I know like all of the NA games, but like it's not as high level as the Asia games. So I think he just has so much more experience coaching in like a higher level region that it's like
He's
it's
got
really
like,
good to have his perspective. He has like a different view of how we see the game.
yeah, and I think as well, when you look at maybe some of the success you did have in North America, you actually had it playing lots of different compositions as well, in different matchups as well, compared to some of the other teams.
Yeah, I think it's because the way he teaches the game is like really the comp doesn't matter. So that's another thing that changed a lot is like in NA, I think people always talk about the comp like as soon as you
Need
lose.
to change a hero, need to
Yeah,
change,
like oh, if I was on this hero or like if you were on that hero, I could have done this. Like that talk's like almost banned. Like maybe like once a week, someone will be like, oh, maybe we should have had this comp, but it's like we all kind of understand that that's like it's bullshit. Like you have to figure out the actual problem. So
yeah,
I think another big thing, uh, not just GgulTaek, but the players on this team are the best I've ever had for feedback. Like they can all just talk to each other. Like there's almost no ego on this team, which I think is because UV is so experienced and everyone is so unexperienced that UV can just talk to everyone without anyone getting defensive or like
taking it personally or
yeah, no one takes anything personal on this team. And I also think it's because they're European that we can all just say shit to them and like not no one gets defensive or takes it personal. Everyone just understands it's about the game. So
no, that's good. Yeah, it's really, I think, really important as well, especially big event like this. How much are you looking forward to it? Because it's been God knows how long since there's been an Overwatch in Hangzhou itself. The arena looks pretty good. 5,500 people. It's sold out. How excited are you to have this?
So my girlfriend's actually going, and she was trying to get like the VIP tickets or whatever, and she said it sold out in 15 seconds. So like she went to buy the ticket, and by the time she put in her passport information, all the tickets are sold out. So I was able to get her ticket through Nightmare, but it's crazy. I can't believe there's so much passion still, especially after the game shut down. So,
yeah.
I mean, the fact that there's still this many people, and I've seen like the advertisement in the subway, and like just it seems like there's a lot of excitement there. So, I'm really excited to go play in front. Especially, I've never been in front of a crowd or like been part of a tournament with a crowd this huge. You know, like the only World Cup I was in was like pretty small, like off in the corner of BlizzCon. It wasn't like the main stage one like back in the day. So this will be by far the biggest crowd I've ever seen for Overwatch.
Does that give you, obviously, you talked about having the Soop Cup experience in terms of playing in front of a LAN, but obviously it is going to be a different tier, a different level here as well. And you're even also coming in as a non-Chinese team, so you won't necessarily have like the crowd be the crowd favorites in a lot of these games, especially if you're up against those teams.
Yeah, we are playing the China Seed 2 in our first game, and but we have LNDL running some Nightmare propaganda in China. We're trying to get some more fans. The more fans to the team because, I mean, it's fine. I think I don't know if the crowd being that much bigger will affect the players. I'm sure it will, but I think it will also affect the other players because I don't think anyone really, unless I don't think any of these guys are left from when Overwatch had the ginormous crowds. You know, like there's so few of these players that are still around from like Owl season 1 or 2 that it's
Yeah,
like
like maybe
there's so few experience with the
maybe
experience like have been in front of a huge crowd,
yeah.
and because the players in front of the huge crowds are the ones that made like grand finals like really early on.
Yeah, there's maybe like a couple of the once again players, but we're
Yeah,
talking like one or two individuals in the tournament more than everything
yeah,
else.
and obviously the Koreans will have advantage because every game they play is on land, but
Yeah.
uh, I still think this crowd's gonna be so like huge, and the stage is so like you're really surrounded by fans on all sides. It's like in the middle, like the old
It's
World Cups.
exactly,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be fun for everyone, I think, and equally challenging to play in front of.
What's the meta lining up as well? Because we saw a few things at Soop. There's the sort of comps we saw at Soop, where we saw quite a bit of Winston, bits of Hazard, a few other things like Orisa. Is that reflective of what you sort of expect for meta to be in Hangzhou?
Yeah, I think actually since they killed Marga, like the game's in a pretty good spot right now. Everyone's kind of just playing to their advantages, especially I think when there's not a tank like that and there's picks and bans, like it really lets teams play what they want to play. The map pool is pretty dive heavy. Uh, I think that is more reflective than like that the dives being played a lot because of the map pool. I don't think it's because of the heroes.
Okay, yeah. Is that because obviously we talked a bit earlier about your success being kind of playing this variety of compositions? Is that then
Hmm.
a concern for you that actually, some of these teams that just want to play maybe dive everywhere are just going to get the opportunity to force you there almost every time they pick a map?
Uh, no, because I'm pretty confident in our dive as well. I know we looked pretty bad in the Soop Cup, but I don't think that was really us out there. I think we were possessed or something because that is not the team I see play every day. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm pretty confident in all of our comps that we play. But yeah, we they pulled the Chris Gambit where they pulled Ilios out of the map pool in the regular season and then put it in the international tournament. It'll be classic.
I wanted to ask about the tournament itself as well, because you are playing Team CC, so you have to go up against a Chinese team in China, maybe crowd against you a little bit. But really, I think when you look at all the teams in the tournament, would you say this is the best team you could have gotten?
Uh, I think yeah. There's like I don't know. I think as long as we don't have to play the Korean teams in the first round, that's like the biggest thing. And we knew that going into grand finals for SSG. We were like, okay, guys, we're going to China, but like, let's try like suit because I think a lot of people thought like, oh, grand finals has no stakes because
Mm,
uh,
both qualified.
yeah, we're both already made China. But like for us, we were like, no, we have to win because we do not want to play uh, Korea round one.
Yeah.
Like we need to play China number two. Like that is obviously the best team to play. So like we really need to beat SSG, and then we did. So it's our work paid off for that.
I think, yeah, everyone wants to avoid the Korean teams as long as possible, so you got that. Lots of people really do expect, obviously, Falcons and Crazy Raccoon going to be the two hardest teams to beat, and maybe inevitably will end up in the grand final or thereabouts. What's a version of success look like for you in this event? Like, obviously, if you can win it all, great. But what would be a result where you'd finish and you'd sort of be happy with the standing?
Mm, I don't know. I said the same cheesy thing last time in Sweden, so I'll say it again. But like, I don't really care about like number placement. I think we'll end up where we deserve to end up based on how we play on the day, and that's it. But uh, I just hope we can show what we've been showing in scrims and like just keep improving every game. I think we'll do well. I'm not. Uh, I'm definitely more confident than I was going into Sweden. So
Okay, yeah. Well, Sweden works out pretty well as well, so.
yeah, but that was more of a that was more of a cheese situation than and now we have a more complete team, I think.
What do you think the power level is between regions then? Because obviously we've seen NA. A lot of people are taking from Soop Cup that essentially EMEA is going to look stronger than NA because they had for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, because they
version of
beat Way
results.
and we didn't. Yeah.
Do you think that's a good indicator, or do you think actually is
I think
closer between the two Western regions?
I think it's like pretty much even. I don't really see a gap at all, actually. Between, I mean, I know VP did better than us in the Soop Cup, but if you see their game versus T1, you know, they still got belts to
kind of
ass. Like,
similar.
yeah, yeah, like T1's just actually really good. So, you know, but we're not here to beat T1. We're here to
Luckily.
go to China, right? So,
Exactly.
the Blizzard has decided only 2 Korean teams get to go, luckily for us. So, uh, I don't think there's really a gap at all. I think it's like really, really close between. I think I would lump in China with us too. I think it's
Yeah.
literally Korea and then everyone else is even.
Yeah, I heard a lot of the same things where it feels like scrims every day is you just trade results. Everyone sort of beats everyone at some point over the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks, so it feels like it's really all to play for.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it makes sense that China is like it's a super top. I think China's like how NA was last year, where it's like once again is Toronto and like
Yeah.
everyone else is like there's not that much.
I wanted as well, obviously, is there anything you want to say to the Nightmare fans or the people who will be watching, obviously at the arena, but also all the fans at home as we go into this big event?
I would just say thank you for cheering for us, and I think you can look forward to watching us play. I'm really excited to put like to like represent NA in this tournament. I'm a big NA esports guy, so a big NA esports fan before I was a NA esports coach. So you know, I really want to show that we're the best region that isn't Korea. So.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Weeks. Thanks for joining me. Safe travels for you and the team, and best of luck, obviously, in Hangzhou.
Yeah, thanks for having me.